After watching 6 Million Steps, A Journey Inward, you know what it takes to hike the Pacific Crest Trail, but what does it take to film the PCT? The crew of 6 Million Steps spent 5 months on the trail, hiking, camping, interviewing hikers, and dealing with similar issues which thru hikers deal with: food, weather, gear, campsites, and snakes. Sure, we had vehicles, but we also had to keep up with our camera equipment, deal with power issues for our gear, continuously track down our hiker friends, log and capture footage, maintain a blog, and of course, wait, and wait, and wait, until we got that perfect shot. That's when we knew we were out there for a reason. Far from any section of the PCT, the first ideas about creating a documentary about thru hikers on the PCT were being discussed in Angleton, Texas, a town 45 minutes south of Houston. Our executive producer, Armando Caceres Jr., loved the outdoors and was eager to produce some kind of film which reflected his love of nature. Before many details of the film were even discussed, he began putting together a team. Stacy Allen attended a whitewater rafting trip a few years ago with our executive producer, and he knew she loved the outdoors. After being laid off from her job in real estate, he asked if she was interested. So she packed up and headed to kick off 2 weeks later to begin filming. Krista Peterson was in school and looking for an outdoor internship for the summer. When she found this opportunity, she put off graduation in order to come out and film. Will Oxley worked as a freelance videographer at the time and was thrilled to be involved in a production of this scale. When it first started, no one could be sure of just how large a project it would really be. Like thru hikers, we had an idea of how long the trail is, but we really didn't know what we were in for. 6 Million Steps originally started out as 2 different projects. Originally, one team, Bryce and Stacy, were assigned to interview thru hikers. The other team, Krista and Will, were responsible for supporting a thru hiker along the trail, as well as filming whatever interesting footage they could. Their hiker left the trail after hiking 1,000 miles on the PCT. No small feat, even when fully supported. When Krista and Will were left on their own, without a hiker to support, that's when the direction of the film really started to become clear. The Pacific Crest Trail was new to all of us. Being from Texas, the closest we had gotten to a long-distance trail was hearing stories about the Appalachian Trail from friends. We had all backpacked before, but finding out that there was a 2,650-mile-long trail, which is only attempted by a few hundred people each year, that seemed pretty extraordinary. Though we didn't know what kind of adventure was in store for us, we all welcomed it with open arms. Things seemed to start out slow as we figured out our workflow, but we were soon bouncing around at trailheads, trail angel homes, and any place where we might find a thru hiker to interview. The first few weeks were an adjustment period to say the least. We camped 6 nights out of 7, and we were still figuring out exactly what to shoot and how to shoot it. As we bounced ideas off of each other, we filmed what we could on the trail, setting up and often waiting hours for thru hikers to pass by. Slowly but surely, we met other hikers. As time passed, we would start to see the same hikers in different places. And in the short time we would cross paths, we would learn more and more about these interesting people and what brought them out to attempt a thru hike on the PCT. Their stories and experiences on the trail began to solidify into a cross-section of humanity. Everyone different, yet still the same. Everyone on the crew felt like this was the focus. Not just the trail itself, not just the thru hikers as individuals, but their communal journey and transformation along the PCT. I couldn't say exactly when the production clicked and everyone understood just what it was that we were making, but it was a good 2 months into shooting. Before then, we would take it day by day, seeing what we could get, which worked well at first. But after we all decided on just what the project meant specifically, we began to plan differently, hike more, be more consistent with our shooting and interviews. It was also around that time that we began to see a group forming, a group of thru hikers that we could follow and talk to. that we would look forward to seeing whenever and wherever we could. It was these hikers which made the film possible. Their willingness to share their experiences on camera and to not only tell, but show people what they go through on trail became integral to 6 million steps. Perpetually being someplace new, getting lost, and meeting helpful strangers was a terrific experience in itself, but it also lent spontaneity to the production. Just like hiking the PCT, there was only so much planning that could be done. At a certain point, we had to just sit back and let it flow. So much was out of our control that we really had to take an open-ended approach to the film. Sure, we had a big picture that we all envisioned, but it was awfully fuzzy. It was only after getting back to Texas, after filming for 5 months, that we were able to sit back, look at everything we had gathered together, and see a big picture which was in clear focus. But even with the direction for the entire project hashed out, that still left all the nitty-gritty details of the production process and the tedium of living on the road for 5 months. Setting up and breaking down camp, interpreting an endless array of both road and trail maps, waiting in the cold for hikers who may or may not be coming, keeping lenses clean and batteries charged, finding the laundromat in every town, booking hotels, scheduling and coordinating between 2 vehicles, coordinating shots, logging hours and hours of footage, promoting the movie, and of course, all the issues that came with hiking. Whenever we could, we would also provide as much trail magic as we could muster. We would give rides, hand out sodas, and feed people if we could. Despite having a 50 to 60 pound pack when hiking sections, Will would often bring beer for any hikers we would come across. While in Northern California, Stacy was tireless in her efforts to shuttle hikers around the forest fires, which had closed sections of the trail. We did what we could, but if there's one thing that we learned about the trail, it's to help people when you can, because trail magic is one of the things which makes the PCT special. Towards the end of the hiking season, we started getting plans ready for our return home. After befriending so many people, goodbyes were tough. Everyone we met and everyone we interviewed were fantastic people. We went out there not knowing what to expect, but like so many others before us, we found hospitality, humility, and friendship on the trail. We had come to know some of the hikers very well, so it didn't seem quite as much as a goodbye as till next time. In the end, we had over 130 hours of footage. Mountains, desert, birds, marmots, snakes, trees, hikers, fire, trail, roads, trail angels, tents, food, heat, cold, sadness, elation, starting, finishing. We had it all. Now, how to put it all together into a nice, neat, informative, inspirational, and entertaining movie? Using our notes and ideas that we developed while filming along the trail, we began to chop things together, experiment with our footage, find common themes, and string together shots into sequences. After 5 months of shooting and 12 months of editing, 6 Million Steps was finally finished. We hope that everyone who sees it can at least get a taste of what it means to be a thru hiker. They go through so much on the trail. We began with the idea of educating people about thru hikers on the PCT, and while there were many twists, turns, and detours, we eventually found our way back to that simple yet compelling idea.
It's funny too, like you're out here and you talk about the most ridiculous things. Like we always talking about a poop. Like, seriously, talking about our poop. Like who do you?
I mean, a 4-inch tall poop.
How often do you like hang out with a bunch of people who you just met and you talk about your poop?
Never.
Right.
Especially
It just
not
never,
girls.
never happened.
I actually have like only probably 5 photos or something for the past few days. Yeah, it's been pretty freaking cool.
Yeah.
So I was pretty excited to see the monument.
Definitely.
Yeah. I was like,
Hang
oh!
on just a second, guys. Sorry. This up here is gorgeous. So pretty.
Well, we're at.
said Tehachapi is the gateway, is the beginning of the Sierras. This is not the Sierras, folks. Look around you. This is Wyoming. Sagebrush and Joshua trees. Terrible.
The saying is, you'd rather have a foot than look for a foot. There's no problem with taking too much stuff at first, because you can get rid of that. But if you show up like in the mountains with not enough gear, and you find yourself in a situation, then you're in big trouble.
Yes.
But thanks, guys. Trying to be serious here.